You know, I was amazed last week. I talked to some of the drivers, and they actually do test on transmission now just for takeoff. You know, that's so important track position-wise to get that jump on everybody, and a lot of them just test at different racetracks along with the other part of the test to make sure they have a transmission and really get going.
All right, we'll check with NASCAR and update you on when we can look for a green flag when we come back to Pocono International Raceway. Stay with us live on TNN. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Pocono International Raceway, where we continue under green-yellow conditions. 7 laps have been completed. Bruce from Virginia called our 800 line and wondered when a race starts like this, does Rusty Wallace, the pole sitter, get the 5 bonus points? Yes, he does, because he is officially the race leader. So he gets the 5 bonus points for leading these laps, although we are under caution. Dick Trickle has been called in for consultation. There was a call from a car behind that he might be leaking some oil. Randy?
Well, they're talking about possibly the car leaking some oil. I talked to crew chief Mike Hillman. They said they're going to come in, check it. If that is not the fact, then Dick Trickle will be able to join back in the field in his position that he has right now. So they're awaiting Dick Trickle's arrival on pit road. They've got the jack stands out. They've got a bunch of rags. Team every once in a while making a lot of movement, but they're getting ready. But they don't feel as if it's a problem. Kenny, buddy, sometimes you can fill these cars up a little bit too much with oil. That could possibly be the problem.
Oh, yeah, it's so easy to overfill, and it'll just throw out the oil that's, you know, causing the problem, and then it'll quit smoking altogether.
And hopefully that's just the case, because Dick qualified great. You can see him pulling off now and getting ready to come down pit road. Hopefully, like they said, if he's not leaking nothing, he'll be able to go back out. But as we say in kind of a crude term, the oil, if it seeks its own level, it gets done, you know, throwing the excess oil out. You know, race morning, they make sure these cars are all full of oil. They go through all the fluids. So hopefully it's just overfull with oil. You can see him lifting the hood up here. Maybe we can get a look and see what happens.
Now they'll have a look at it. If they look at it and send it back out, he can go back into position. But if they do any work on the car, then he'll have to restart tail end. Nope.
Well, it looks pretty good there, Mike. It doesn't look like they see anything.
Well, of course, you want to shrug because you want to get that car back out in line. Oh, I can't find it.
I tell you, it's really hard to detect whether there's fuel maybe coming out of the overflow a lot of times. It gets on the windshield of the car behind, and you say, oh, he's losing a lot of fluid on the windshield of my car. And it may not be oil. It might just be overflow.
So the active trucking Chevrolet of Dick Trickle comes down the longest pit road in the business and back out. Let's pick up where we were at the top of the show, talking about, if you will, the big 3, or the 3 black cars that have seemed to dominate this sport for some time here. Ernie Irvan, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace. First time since 1968 that there's been a triple-triple, 3 drivers winning 3 races each in the first 12 events. Cale Yarborough, David Pearson, and Richard Petty did it in 1968. Here are some of the drivers that are looking for their first win of the season. Among the other top 10 drivers in the points. Looking further back. And now they've sent Rusty Wallace out ahead of the pack to kind of test the pavement around the racetrack, see if we're set to go racing.
And I can tell you one thing, this is not a situation where you're thrilled to death to be a rabbit. I mean, Rusty could run down in it right now and hit a wet spot and spin out, and that's what you call being a rabbit, but it's not the safest thing.
Yeah, but I tell you, Rusty's been around long enough to understand. He's very careful. You notice he's not really up to top speed, but he's going fast enough to test the surface without getting himself in trouble.
You know, tires are also really critical. So, you know, while he's doing this, he's getting some heat in those tires and getting them burnt up a little bit. That's not an advantage for the start. So, you know, he's wearing his tires out just a little bit while he's doing this.
Now, because of the laps prior to the green-yellow and this green-yellow condition, once NASCAR decides the track is safe to race, they've said they will allow the teams to come down pit road, top off fuel, come back out, and then we'll be set to go racing.
Judging by his speed right now, I don't expect him to be out there for a couple more laps, and they'll be getting these cars ready to go, because Rusty's up to good speed now, and the car looks real stable.
Yeah, you see him drift way out wide before, buddy. You're right, he's carried a lot of momentum off there, and that's a good sign that he's up at full speed, and plus all of us can hear a little bit of that motor noise, and he's wide open.
Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Kenny Schrader, the top 5 in qualifying here. It looks like Rusty's going to try to catch the pack rather than wait for them. So they'll take a minute to get everybody lined back up. And it'll be 10 complete when they come back around. While we're under caution, we'll take this pause from Pocono. We'll be right back. You're watching NASCAR Racing live on TNN.
Today's exclusive coverage of the UAW-GM Teamwork 500 on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
In 4 laps, they'll be set to restart this race. You see the field come around minus Rusty Wallace. He'd come around to lap the field. NASCAR said, well, that'll mess up our scoring. So Rusty's just kind of idling along, waiting for them to catch up. Now, at 2 laps to go before they go green, we're 4 laps to go right now. They'll be allowed to make pit stops. Up to 3 men will be allowed over the pit wall during the stop. Just the gas can and the catch can, the overflow man, and someone to clean the windshield. So no tire changes will be permitted. But then we'll go racing in 3.5 laps from now. A couple of drivers on the bent and broken list from last week at Dover. We talked to Ted Musgrave earlier about the injuries to his ribs, and Dale Earnhardt whacked the wall a lot harder than we knew at Dover when he then came down the front straightaway. Had a narrow escape with the pace car coming into the garage area. Glenn talked to him yesterday.
Well, you know, we did, but we didn't hit as hard as Musgrave and some of them other cats. And when I was coming down the front straightaway, I realized I'd crashed, and I realized I was just like holding on to the steering wheel. But I never seen the flag stand go by or Elmo. They said I, about hit Elmo, and I slid off down there and stopped him. The first thing I realized was, well, I'm in the infield. And I thought I was in turn 3 and 4. I was in turn 1 and 2. I didn't come all the way down the straightaway and didn't even realize it. So I reckon it rang my bell a little bit, yeah.
Did just a bit. I had dinner with Richard Childress the other night, and he said, I didn't want Dale to get back in the car. He said, I'm all right, I'm all right. Richard says, well, if you're feeling bad, will you come in? I'll come in, I'll come in. He says, I knew he wouldn't come in. But he insisted on getting back in the race car. There's Richard.
I've been there several times myself. When you pass the phone, you want to answer it. It's a pretty
Hello?
tough.
Hello?
Well, Dale Earnhardt's got a great streak on. We talk about that. He's been in, I think he's only been relieved 1 time, and that was very early in his career. So, the black number 3 is Dale Earnhardt's car, and
yep.
it takes something really big for somebody else to get in it.
Well, Bill Elliott was standing by in relief, and I think that only strengthened Dale's resolve to stay in the car.
Well, there was, that's kind of a touchy thing. There's one of the top Ford men fixing to drive a Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt. I don't think that would have worked too well.
No, I don't think so.
But it was a nice gesture on Bill's part to stand by in case he did need help.
That's true. In the last races here at Pocono, well, nobody has really dominated. In the June race, 7 different faces. Victory Lane, Tim Richmond, Jeff Bodine, Terry Labonte, Harry Gant, Darrell Waltrip, Alan Kulwicki, who holds the race record, and last year Kyle Petty.
That tells you just how unique this racetrack is. Usually when somebody gets a good handle on a racetrack, they'll win 2 or 3 in a row there, or you'll have repeat winners. So that's an indication of how tough this track is.
Here we have all the cars coming down in the pit road now, following Elmo down the pit road. This is kind of good. Everybody's coming in pretty much at the speed limit that NASCAR sets to come down pit road, and it gives them an idea of how to brake to get in their pits and everything else.
55 miles an hour.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, they probably won't, but by Rusty being a rabbit and running about 3 hard laps, like I said, it puts some wear on his tires. Be interesting to see if they give Rusty any tires. Most likely they won't. But the only advantage I can see of what he done was to see how his car felt. When the race goes green, everybody else, will be a little bit cold. So Rusty got a little bit of confidence built up in him.
Mike, they use a lot of tape on the front of these cars. You heard Billy Engel earlier talking about the 10 car, Ricky Rudd. They didn't know how much tape to put on the front because they have no idea what the temperature is going to be today. If sun comes out, that might be a problem for some of these guys. The reason you put tape on the front is to make it really adhere to the racetrack. Really, you sink the front end down. You can see on the Kendall car there's several big pieces on both sides of the grill there. If it starts running hot, they'll have to get rid of that, and that'll make the car real tight. They'll make it push, as a matter of fact.
Rusty Wallace pulling out. Most everybody else has completed their gas stop. Ward Burton is still on pit road. So is Michael Waltrip. But everyone else has left their pit stall. We'll get ready to go racing here under the green in 2 laps, we're told. We'll be back to Pocono after this.